ndio hiyo imepanda bei. Si ni namna hiyo? Sasa badala ya watu kushughulikia mafuta wanaanza mambo ya fitina ati wananipangia. Sasa mnanipangia nini? Pangieni mafuta kwanza iteremke chini.
Why the double speak, Mr. President?
I want to begin with the new prices of petroleum products in the country, because in Nairobi, a litre of petrol will now retail at 214 shillings 25 cents. That is up from the previous price, or the current price, of 197. It will be changing at midnight. Mimi
nataka niwaambie hii mafuta inaongezwa usiku na mchana. Mimi nataka niwaeleze ya kwamba these people don't understand the damage they are doing to the people and the economy of Kenya. Kwa mafuta ndio hiyo imepanda bei. Si ni namna hiyo? Sasa badala ya watu kushughulikia mafuta wanaanza mambo ya fitina ati wananipangia. Sasa mnanipangia nini? Pangieni mafuta kwanza iteremke chini.
Why the double speak, Mr. President?
I want to begin with the new prices of petroleum products in the country, because in Nairobi, a litre of petrol will now retail at 214 shillings 25 cents. That is up from the previous price, or the current price, of 197. It will be changing at midnight.
Nataka niwaambie hii mafuta.
Greetings to you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for making time to join us. This is Sound Candid Talk, open forum political discussion show. The show that gives you an opportunity to air what you feel and think about the latest development on our political front. Well, there you have it. We are waking up to strike countrywide by reason of the high prices of the fuel. But now what Kenyans are remembering on this matter, it is on how fierce William Ruto was in castigating the Uhuru Kenyatta administration then for fuel hiking. And now he is the driver right now. He's the one in the highest seat. And it appears that the more things change, the more they remain the same in this country. And so Kenyans are now questioning what went wrong, why the person who was talking tough and of course promising to be the best president and the best problem solver for Kenya and Kenyans, what what has gone wrong with him deploying his wisdom and deploying his prowess to secure and of course shield Kenyans against all this. If you followed that story closely, you noticed that by the time that clip was being captured during the campaign, there was the war between Russia and Ukraine, and so the Uhuru Kenyatta administration claimed that that war is what was affecting the prices of oil or petrol in this part of the world. The William Ruto Brigade, then the Tanga movement, were very fierce. They came up with the explanations like the distance from Ukraine to Kenya is very far, and so there is no way what's going on there can affect what is going on here. And then now, like fate will always have it, there is the conflict between Iran, America, and Israel, definitely pointing out on what has gone wrong with the prices of fuel around the world. But now that explanation is not sitting well with Kenyans because, one, it did not happen suddenly. The government anticipated it. We had cases where the PS and the people in that energy ministry were dismissed for bringing in emergency fuel to try and to be able to control the hiking of the prices, but were sacked because they worked outside the G2G agreement that seems to be chaperoned and protected by the William Ruto administration. So it goes without saying that this administration specifically, it has very little liking for, or rather it has very little concern for the welfare of the Kenyan people. And that is why we are here to ensure that Kenyans know what they are bargaining for. If they are working hard to secure William Ruto as second term in office, then these are the things that will be happening no matter how long he's given to be in office. What I know about government is that government should be anticipating problems and solving those problems so that they don't affect the Kenyan people. That's how government works. Government has foresight. Government has, means by which it should work out everything to secure the people and, of course, caution them from what may make their life unbearable. But we have an administration here that is moving from crisis to crisis, from one problem to another. From one, we just had drought problem. After drought problem, we have had now floods problem. After floods problem, now we have the petrol fuel problem. And crises keep going on. And this points out on one thing. We are having a dysfunctional government, a dysfunctional administration. And that's where Kenyans need to wake up and begin to see this for what it is and stop pretending that we can have an incompetent or rather incompetent people in office and still enjoy good services. We can never. And so let us make up our mind. What is it that we want? What kind of future do we want for this country? And of course, exercise that on the ballot and ensure that we only vote in right people, vote in responsible people, vote in, committed people that are, nationalists and seek the welfare of our country. These other ones that are there to feed themselves and milk the country to death, they should be, Kenyans should rally against them. And so I don't know where you are getting us from. Tell us umepangaje kesho kama tunapoanza siku na watu wa matatu wameitisha mgomo. Kuna kwa kuaje? Wewe ndio utapitia mtu, wewe ndio utabeba mtu, ama wewe uko katika haya maandamano kama ilivyo sheria, mambo kama haya yakianza kutokea. Basi niambie, na wale mnatupata TikTok tuambie uko aje, unatupataje, then like video, of course karibisha mtu ili tumakinike pamoja. Sasa kuna huyu mama katoa maoni yake kuhusu masuala yalivyo, na ningependa tu kuleta ako ka clip tukakaangalie, alafu tuone ni kipi hiki ambacho kinakera wa Kenya kwa masuala ya uongozi wa William Ruto. Let's listen out to this and then come back to continue with breaking down what is going on in the hearts of Kenyans, the mind of the majority of the Kenyan people, and of course what they wish to see happening.
Na mimi ni one time hadi kwa kitanda. Mr. William Ruto, nakwambia uko na wakati mgumu sana. Uko na wakati mgumu sana.
Hiyo ni ukweli. Kama alivyosema.
Saa hizi hata wale watu wanajaribu kuuza William Ruto, wao kama watu wanauza nyanya nyimeoza. So Mr. President, wewe ni one time na umeisha, hauna ladha, hata bibi yako peke yake atakupea kura.
Simbo.
Mr. William Ruto, unafurahia kwa Oburu ni party leader na anaenda. Hakuna mtu hata mtoto mdogo ukimwambia William Ruto anatoroka mbio. 2027 hatutaweka uwezi kwa government. Magaidi wote, kwanza Gladys Wanga ananiboa sana na weave moja. Mimi ni one time hadi kwa kitanda.
Okay, there you have it. Wakenya tumia lugha gani? They have reached the end with their tolerance for the happenings with the William Ruto administration. Then listening to that lady closely, you will notice that she has no kind words for the William Ruto administration. Yet I just want to ask you from where you are, because we have these people who are obsessed with the two-term, and to them it doesn't matter whether William Ruto has done the right thing. It doesn't matter whether William Ruto is leading the country right. To them, two-term is a guarantee, and one explanation you get from the two-term guys is that it is hard to remove William Ruto. And who said it will be easy? I who said we should only remove him if it is easy? I thought there is a competition, and in competition there is the loser and there is the winner. But until there is a contest, there can never be a loser or a winner. So if we give in before there is a fight, and then of course it goes without saying that we are cowards and we would want to, you know, somebody from anywhere can come and impose himself as a leader, and we let them. And that's where we are calling on Kenyans. Let's stop the games and face the facts and do the right thing. So huyo mama anasema kumuuza William Ruto ni ngumu. That's also a shared confession by the whatever Oparanya, the former governor of Kakamega, and currently is a CS in the William Ruto administration, courtesy of not the merger, courtesy of the memorandum of understanding between ODM and UDM. And Oparanya says the Sifuna factor has complicated the convincing of Kenyans that William Ruto deserves a second term. So ukiangalia kile ambacho Oparanya amesema na kile huyu mama amesema, and then of course kuna hiyo opinion poll ambayo inasema bado William Ruto ndiye anaongoza. So ni kipi ambacho kinachanganya hapa? Mbona wengi wa Kenya wana hasira hivi? Wengi wa Kenya wamekasirishwa na kile ambacho kinaendelea na serikali, ile hali opinion poll bado zinasema kwamba mtu anayependwa sana, mtu ambaye atapigiwa kura, mtu ambaye atachaguliwa tena ni William Ruto. So this controversy and this of course unrealistic reporting, where is it emerging from, and what is the end game of the same? If Kenyans have had it, they have through with the William Ruto administration, then let it be made clear. But this aspect of trying to convince Kenyans otherwise, even when you know the right thing, is uncalled for, number one. And then number two, you can't deceive all the people all the time. It comes a time when lies must come to an end. It comes a time when the truth should count and the truth should matter. And so at this point in time, I really would invite Kenyans into very serious, deep thinking, and think seriously about this country, think seriously about the future of this country, and so that when you go to the ballot, you will make an informed decision. Don't allow yourself to be carried by the rhetorics, be carried by the wave of political association. Let there be some serious thinking that will make you vote with an understanding that you are not just putting somebody in office, but you are rescuing the country. You are putting the country on the right plane where it will be able to, run in the interest of the majority of Kenyans. I want to salute all of you that are joining us from wherever you are. Please make sure that you are here and give your views. I want to really appreciate everyone for your continued support. Sound Candy Talk is here because of you and because of your support. So please like the video, share it widely, get more people to join and be part of this great conversation. So una support huyo mama ama wewe unaonaje? William Ruto ni one term ama two term, na kwa nini unasema vile unavyosema? Toa maoni yako na sisi pia tutachangia ili tukamakinike pamoja. Asante kwa wote ambao mnaendelea kulike video na kukaribishana, tumakinike kwa pamoja. So is William Ruto getting the second term or not? And are Kenyans serious enough to give William Ruto a one term, or it is just the lies that we like lying to each other? Well, let's go a step further and look at something else here again on the matters politics, and that is Osoro and Sifuna, Osoro and Sifuna and their exchanges, and just begin to read what really goes on in the mind of our politicians and how they take Kenyans, in what they believe Kenyans know and appreciate about them. Here we go.
Hii siasa hawa wananchi kitu saa zingine wajui. Tunapigana hapa na sisi tukitoka hawa viongozi tutaenda pamoja kukula na tutaacha saa zingine wananchi.
Mheshimiwa Osoro, hakuna siku tutakula na wewe. Afadhali nikae njaa, na nasema hivyo kama Mluya. Sisi tunaamini chakula, lakini wewe kama ni wewe tunakula na wewe, wacha njaa ni uwe. Hakuna siku.
Hii siasa hawa wananchi kitu saa zingine wajui. Tunapigana hapa na sisi tukitoka hawa viongozi tutaenda pamoja kukula na tutaacha saa zingine wananchi.
Mheshimiwa Osoro, hakuna siku tutakula na wewe. Afadhali nikae njaa, na nasema hivyo kama Mluya. Sisi tunaamini chakula, lakini wewe kama ni wewe tunakula na wewe, wacha njaa ni uwe. Hakuna siku.
Hii siasa.
Okay, there you have it. Exchange between Osoro and Sifuna. And you could, I want us to hear those undertones, where what is Osoro pushing and what is Sifuna refuting. This is a clear means by which I believe UDA and the Kenya Kwanza administration are using. And the narrative that Osoro is pushing there is that there is no difference between those who are opposing the government and those who are supporting the government. According to Osoro, especially the political class, they are all the same and they are doing the same thing. So we shouldn't follow those who are opposing the government because they are still friends with those who are supporting the government. And this seems to be the narrative being sold out there. And Kenyans are buying into it, that we cannot get a credible, straightforward, integrous leader because all political players are corrupt, all political players are twisted, all political players are, anti the welfare of the people. And so this is not new, number one. And then number two, it is being pushed so hard because we want the political class want to deny us any opportunity of seeking better leadership so that we retain the mediocrity that we are being treated to, on the premise that we don't have a choice. We have to end up with William Ruto. We have no choice. We have to end up with the current political groupings. And to me, that is the highest fallacy that is being pushed. And as Kenyans, we need to see and be able to read between the lines and reject such leaders who wants to deceive us, things that we can see and tell clearly. So the aspect that political class are eating together doesn't necessarily mean that they are right in their eating together, or they are the standard that we should comply with and accept, especially when their standard is too low and is not addressing the issues that are affecting the majority of Kenyans. To be a member of parliament, a member of county assembly, to be a governor, senator, and president, all those are entrusted responsibilities. Entrusted responsibilities meaning that you're exercising an authority on behalf of Kenyans. Kenyans have donated that particular responsibility to you. And so you should act in their interest. You should act in their, well-being. But if you are using a public office and you are using it for personal gain, you are using it for personal advancement, then you are the problem and you need to be solved. And so I would want to warn Kenyans, let's beware of those narratives, especially that being pushed by Osoro, that all political classes are corrupt, they are all the same, and so we should end up with anything and everything that avails itself on the ballot. A time has come that this country get the president they deserve, this country get the leaders that they have elected. Any form of interference with elections or any imposition of leadership, either by the foreign powers or by the deep state or by the powers that be, needs to be resisted by Kenyans forcefully and of course deliberately. And so it doesn't matter who is saying what. Let us be able to read. Is Sifuna capable of leading this country better? Then let him be given that opportunity. Is William Ruto the only better option that can make this country great? Then when you convince Kenyans that William Ruto is the man for the job, then so be it. But let's not reach that place of surrendering without a fight and, giving into the pressure that we must secure somebody a second term even when he doesn't deserve it. And of course, he's, he has demonstrated that leading Kenya is too heavy for him. Taking care of the welfare of all Kenyans is a huge responsibility, and so he would rather look for shortcuts other than get to the root cause of what is ailing and bedeviling the Kenyan people. And so let's beware of politicians like Osoro who want to make us believe that we don't need to seek change, we don't need to seek better leaders, we don't need to seek better leadership. Let's settle for what we have and adjust and accept it as it is. That mentality is the whole bedrock of mediocrity, and we must not entertain it. That clip also goes with what I've heard Lusaka telling the people of Bungoma, and he shares the same sentiments. That's why I'm saying the Kenya Kwanza administration seems to be reading from the same script, and they want Kenyans to believe their gospel as gospel truth. But you have a right to interrogate every one of it. So Lusaka was talking about, before you run for presidents, you need to be rich. Before you run for presidents, you need to have means. Before you run for presidents, you need to have this and that. And so he gave one story about 1997 when Wamalo Kijana ran for presidents. And he said that the reason why the opposition lost the election in 1997 is because they didn't have means, they didn't have money. And so he gave an example of when they were campaigning for Wamalo Kijana, they used an old, is it 544 Pujo? And as, they were going for a rally in Bungoma, they got stuck somewhere in Limuru, or they got somewhere in wherever. Before they got to, it's called what, Naivasha, there is Gilgil, then there is Nakuru. And so the vehicle tire had a tire burst, and so they had to change the wheel. And so he says you could see how, Wamalo Kijana was frustrated in his campaign, that while he's changing the tire for his Pujo, Moi with his, choppers, he was already crisscrossing the country and, of course, selling the agenda. And so using that particular, of course, old Kano mentality, Lusaka and like Osoro, they want to sell a narrative that for you to be president of this country, you must steal and make a lot of money and use those monies to bribe Kenyans and, of course, get an edge of those that are competing. Now, as much as that would have some level of, truth in terms of accelerating your process of engaging in the campaign, because you have means, you have several choppers running around, But for the leadership of the country, in my opinion, that doesn't count anything. And if there will be any proper leadership for this country, it should be owned by the people and should be ran by the people. And what I'm simply saying is that if William Ruto is a candidate by himself because of his money, because of his connections, because of his choppers, then he is a candidate by himself, not by the Kenyan people. And so the Kenyan people need to come together and get a candidate that they can own, the candidate that they can identify with, the candidate that they can sponsor into running for the seat. That's the only time they will be able now to hold him to account, because he is their candidate. So at this point in time, let all that have choppers, those that have the money, those that have all the means, and they believe that because of that they have to be in public office, I think it's about time we let the Kenyan people to vent their wrath on them by ensuring that they cannot be re-elected or find another opportunity to be in public office. And so let's not allow ourselves to collapse and follow the narrative that there is nothing that can be done. It is all gone and we should all accept and move on. We have had that for too long. We must not allow it to go further. And so let's rise up and reject the narrative that wants to make us believe that there is nothing we can do in salvaging our country. It's never too late to do the right thing. And of course, doing the right thing means let's stop listening to wrong people. Let's follow only people that are going to help us realize what we need to realize in terms of rescuing this country and making it viable for each and every Kenyan. And so let us not buy into those funny narratives that are claiming that it is already, William Ruto is only waiting for the swearing in because he has the deep state, he has the machinery, and there is no force strong enough to unseat him. In my opinion, everything is going against William Ruto, and so anyone can win against him. All he needs is to win the hearts and the minds of Kenyans, and of course be able to secure Kenyans into a better country by reason of providing better leadership. I want us to switch gears as we listen to different Kenyans give their views about their leadership. Let's listen to this guy as we go further.
Not everyone in Kenya has been born to be second in command. Whenever everyone was quiet, Sifuna was always vocal. Whenever people were hesitant, Sifuna has always stood firm with us. Whenever they showed us madharau and opulence, Sifuna has always been humble and stayed with the people and grounded. Mazee, Sifuna tunakutaka kama president. Mambo ya deputy tumekataa kabisa. Wangapi wana agree na mimi? Hii kitu mpaka State House. Tunasema farasi ni mbili lakini stallion ni moja. Mr. Edwin Sifuna Omwami. Not everyone in Kenya has been born to be second in command. Whenever everyone was quiet.
Okay, mambo ni kama hayo. Huyo jamaa anasema masuala ya Sifuna kuwa deputy, hiyo isaulike. Kile ambacho Wakenya, ambayo naamini wengi wa Wakenya wanasema ni kwamba wanataka Sifuna awe ndiye anapeperusha bendera na yeye ndiye anasimamia na masuala ya nchi hii. And so wanasema hiyo masuala ya kwamba atapewa udeputy ama atakuwa running mate, wale ambao wanamsupport wanasema hapana, haifai. And then of course naamini the fear of majority of Kenyans is that there will be no change if we made Sifuna a deputy to Kalonzo, a deputy to Matiang'i, a deputy to whoever. As long as he's deputy, he will still be incapacitated. And of course, history has a way of warning Kenyans, and I believe Kenyans are justified into their fear because the first deputy president in the 2010 constitution was, of course, William Ruto. And what happened? halfway into their leadership, they fell apart, and of course, Ruto became a thorn in the flesh in the administration of Uhuru. But the wrangles affected the performance of the Jubilee administration, and of course, there wasn't much that deputy president would do in trying to influence even decisions. And now look at the deputy to the first deputy to William Ruto, who was Rigathi Gachagua. The kind of revelations that are coming from the Rigathi Gachagua reporting are clear that even when he was deputy president, they were in constant conflict, but he was limited in how he could influence decisions and make the country function. And so that office of deputy president is not as powerful as it is presented, and somebody being put there, I think, won't be able to make much difference for Kenyans. And so the insisting that Edwin Sifuna has to go for presidents is something that I believe sits well with many Kenyans, and because majority of Kenyans are yearning for change, they are yearning for better leadership, they are yearning for a different person in leadership. Putting Kalonzo in office is just recycling what we have had all along. Kalonzo has been a Kanu young man. Kalonzo has been, in various successive administration. And of course, so his style of leadership and his style of running this country may not be very different from what we have already experienced. And so for us to get maybe some drastic and dynamic leadership, we need somebody who is clean. We need somebody who is green. And of course, I am sure with the support of a strong team, he will be able to deliver for Kenyans better than when we put in the old people who already know where to cut deals, and in the process, they may just be taken hostage. And so I think if we have a person that is free from corruption, is free from accusation, he has integrity, he has conviction, he has a commitment to the country, he has a commitment to the welfare of the people, then that person being in office secures Kenyans. And of course, that's what we need to go after. And so I really want to encourage Kenyans, let's think deeply on the same, make informed decision, but reject when a particular leader is being targeted for evil. Now, that's a very strong point. Reject when a viable, trustworthy, integrous leader is being targeted to be frustrated and to be, incapacitated so that the evil ones can find their way. And so the suggestion and the push that Sifuna should accept deputy presidents, it won't make much difference. And let me just also warn that only when Sifuna runs for presidents, that's when the giant, the sleeping giant Luya vote can be harnessed positively for the country. Making him deputy won't make much difference. And of course, that would earn and give William Ruto a second term without any form of resistance. So the Luya vote needs to be protected. And for the Luya vote to be protected has to be, Luyas are very, one of them, very, I would say, very different from other communities. And different in the sense that if you don't show them that you are the man and they can rely on you, you are their fighter, you are their defender, they won't vote for you. And so, like right now when everything is at stake, they don't want that story of deputy president. We have had the deputy president, Nkomudi, of course, Madividim Salem Davadi, of course, with the late Wamalo Kijana was deputy and all that. So the deputy seat is not an attractive seat, and it will not bring, votes that can be significant enough to unseat William Ruto. And therefore, wale ambao wanahusika kwa masuala haya ni muhimu tuangalie kwa kina kwamba tutengeneze ticket ambayo itafanya Wakenya wapige kura kwa fujo, na and then of course walete hayo mabadiliko. And so it is important that we all keenly look at this and of course generally be able to analyze things for what they are. Let's not get to that place of allowing evil to thrive simply because we feel helpless and probably we feel that it is too late to change anything. Okay, this is Bildad. He says we want to break old mantra and stereotype that without money we can't rule the country. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. This country has been taken, the leadership of this country has been taken hostage for far too long. And Kenyans and their decision is not regarded because people have money and people can use their money to get their way regardless of what Kenyans have decided on the ballot. And so to change that, we must come in forcefully. Make that insignificant person, that person that they think he has no chopper, he has no vehicles, he has no means. And of course, if we are able to, make those resources available and be able to make him the leader, then we will own that leadership. And of course, that leadership will now act in our interest as a people. And I believe this country will make giant steps forward. And so, tuache kusikiliza wale ambao washa given kina Tuoli au kina Mudavadi, kina Wetangula au kina Lusaka. Hao watu wote ambao wanahubiri injili ya kwamba hatuwezi kubadilisha nchi hii, hatuwezi badilisha uongozi wa nchi hii kwa sababu wale ambao wako kwa power, wako na nguvu, wako na hela, wako na magari na wako na choppers. Wakati umefika Wakenya tuanze kusema kwamba nguvu na uwezo wa kuongoza nchi hii uko mikononi mwa Wakenya, sio Wakenya wawili watatu, Wakenya wote. Na kila ambacho kinazungumziwa kuhusu nchi hii lazima kiwe katika ile hali ya kuhakikisha kwamba linaangazia maendeleo ya wananchi na mafanikio ya wananchi na usalama wa wananchi. Lakini kama ni kulinda tumbo zao, kulinda viongozi peke yake na hiyo mambo ingine, hiyo ndio sababu kubwa ya wewe kujitokeza na kuhakikisha kwamba unapiga kura vizuri na unakataa uongozi ambao ni mbaya, uongozi wa ufisadi, uongozi ambao hauleti shangwe katika maisha ya wengi wa Wakenya. Bildad anasema hapa ni Sifuna and we want to a firm and resilient leader, the one who can put his life at risk for the sake of the citizens. I agree with you 100%. We no longer need patronage leaders. We no longer need so-called kingpin. We need somebody who is ready to lay down his life for the salvation of this country. And we see that in Sifuna and a few young leaders who have had it from the old guards who want to protect mediocrity and protect bad leadership. And so let the younger leadership take charge and reject any form of any form of manipulation that would want people to believe that there isn't much that can be done to secure this country. We can save this country and we can reject bad leadership successfully. One such leader is Caleb Amisi, one of the leaders in the Linda Mwananchi, and he had this to say in one interview, a very strong point that I would want us to consider. Let's just hear him out and then come back, break it down na tuanze kutamatisha.
And what makes you think also these other people who will leave, who will not have a position to play in united opposition, will not join him? Remember, you cannot remove interest out of politics. In whatever circumstances, always remember, in politics also there are interests.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if those people feel that their interest is not catered in that united opposition, they'll go opposite. So what have you have achieved?
So, but
and that's why I'm saying,
okay.
And for you to even say you have agreed this is a, have you done an election to say this is the guy? What is going to make you now choose one person? That's what I say.
That is the question that Kenyans are asking.
And that's what I'm telling them. Let these people run. There are people who just want Linda Mwananchi. They don't want you to be with somebody else.
Right?
Yes. Because Linda Mwananchi is talking to those particular people, those young people on the street, the hustlers.
So we have Caleb Amisi, we have Babu Owino, we have Osotsi, we have Sifuna. They are saying, sisi tumependa hawa vile wako.
Thank you very much. Why are you taking those people? You are going to dump them on the street and they leave and they join another opposition figure. Those people are not following those opposition figure before and they have been there. They didn't care about them. They are now seeing light in you. Why are you leaving them on the street and joining the group that they have never followed? So those are the people we are talking about. If you don't have a candidate for them, they'll be voter apathy. And what makes you think also these other people who will leave, who will not have a position to play in united opposition, will not join him? Remember, you cannot remove interest out of politics. In whatever circumstances, always remember, in politics also there are interests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there you have it. Huyo ni Caleb Amisi, the support member of parliament and a key leader in the Linda Mwananchi fraternity. He's been an ODM member of parliament all his life, and he has delivered that seat against the Wetangula wave in that particular region in successive administration. So he's a strong, I would say, politician and a very brilliant guy. And he's raising a point here that I think we need to take serious, and that is this push that Sifuna and Linda Mwananchi should join the united opposition movement. In my opinion, one, it is too early, and two, there is still room for the Sifuna and Linda Mwananchi to flex their muscle. They are yet to go around the country. They have just had like it is too early for them to begin to seek association with so-called united opposition until they have galvanized their support, and of course they are clear on who is supporting them and why they are being supported. And so what Caleb is raising there is a very important point, that the Sifuna movement, the Linda Mwananchi movement, should not carry the people and dump them at Wamunyoro's place, or dump them at Matiang'i's place, or dump them at whatever place. So he says, if we are not careful, and if we quickly join the so-called united opposition, we may lose some of the huge chunk of supporters that we have around the country. And so I really would want to remind us that as Kenyans, we should resist the politics of conmanship. We should resist the politics of no agenda, the politics of trying to, the politics of, carrying the people like, potatoes in the basket and selling them over. And we have had this politics for too long, and I believe it's time to change. And this time to change will call for Kenyans to soberly look into the matter. And so I would advise that Sifuna should go slow about this push that he has to unite with whoever in order to unseat William Ruto. In my opinion, William Ruto can be unsat if we can convince Kenyans that there is better leadership. And so the clean leadership of Linda Mwananchi need to be kept clean. They should not allow themselves to be contaminated and, of course, to be sucked into an association that is, I would say, amorphous. We don't know where it is headed specifically. And so let Sifuna and team just keep the spirit and keep the campaign, and of course keep convincing Kenyans that they are the change that Kenya has been waiting for. That aspect of them selling themselves as the change that Kenya has been longing for gives them a better chance than them seeking any form of grouping in themselves with another group. And if there's anything to go by, I would that they go slow on this until it is 11th hour. You remember in the last elections, 2022, the alliance, the so-called Kenya Kwanza alliance, it was made and formed very late in the day. And look at the history of the politics of Raila Odinga and his navigation of remaining relevant all his political life. It is into what? Ensuring that you don't get into elections and decide how you're going to run too early. That may affect you. And then, of course, you don't form a coalition too far from an election. And so if there are any lessons we are lifting and learning from Raila Odinga and his school of thought, is that coalitions are made, should be made late in the day, not too early. Because if you make them too early, they will get dismantled by the opponent. And so I think Caleb has a point there. Kenyans trusting Sifuna, it is Sifuna they have trusted, not for Sifuna to deliver them to Amunyoro, or Sifuna to carry them to Kalonzo, or Sifuna to carry them to Matiang'i. It is Sifuna they have trusted. Let them, they will follow Sifuna. So let not Sifuna go and sell himself cheaply or succumb to pressure to go and associate with the people that Kenyans have rejected or Kenyans are not comfortable working with. And so I agree with Caleb 100%. There must not be any form of, making Kenyans feel deceived, feel cheated, and feel carried for a ride. No. So the Linda Mwananchi fraternity, tread carefully, move circumspect. In my opinion, that is the only way for us to rescue this country. And so Sifuna, Amisi, Osoti, who else? Kalori Omondi, we have, of course, Orengo, and all the fraternity, Babu Wino, the Linda Mwananchi Brigade. Let the Linda Mwananchi Brigade remain free of corruption, free of wrong association, so that they keep the hope of Kenyans alive. And of course, we believe Kenyans will not disappoint them when it comes to them being elected and put in office. And so it is time for us to resist and reject any form of forced association or forced Nairobi hospital in controversy. And here we go.
The day that Daktari was arrested, I was actually going to Meru. And then he calls me, and I think he put Dr. Chris on the phone. It was Chris, right? And he told me, Sifuna, they have arrested Daktari, and we don't know what the reason is. So I told him, okay, let me try and find out what's going on. I actually called the IG of police. and asked him what's going on, because we were all aware of the dispute with Nairobi Hospital. And certain pronouncements had been made by the highest office in this land, and we are not going to fear speaking about these things. That question of Nairobi Hospital was going to be resolved the mambo ni matatu way. You all heard it. And the president actually owned up later that he's the one who gave the orders to do what happened to Dr. Obwaka. So I called the IG. Of course, the IG feigned ignorance, said he was not aware of what was going on. But he was at a police station. I was like, just call, I think it was Pangani, whoever the OCS is. Some of us, you know, because we're still young, even if you threw me in for 2 weeks, my wife wouldn't even notice. Because I'm away so much, like, you know what we're doing running around the country. Every once in a while, it's my daughter will remind her, oh, let's call daddy. And that's like a week and a half later. But I told him, that is a very old man. I'm sure at his age, he must be frail. Just give him whatever cash bail conditions you can give him. Let him go home, you know? So it is quite surprising. It's quite surprising. And the Reverend has given us very good sermon here saying that every generation must find its purpose and fight it during its generation. You can imagine reading this eulogy. In 1982, when Dr. Obwaka is getting his master's, Sifuna is being born, you know? So they have a fight of their generation. We have ours. And I want to assure this church, it's not as if we don't hear the call of our own generation for the things that we need to do for this country to stop some of the things that Dr. Obwaka had to go through after all this life of service that he served in this country. The day that Daktari was arrested, I was actually going...
Okay, there you have it. Edwin Sifuna there, the senator of Nairobi, and of course still the SG of ODM, speaking at the funeral of Dr. Obwaka, who died in unclear circumstances, and having been, you know, sucked into a conflict at the hospital where he was serving at the Nairobi hospital. And the president, William Ruto, is mentioned to be a key player. And Sifuna there implying that the mambo ni matatu whatever mantra is what played out at the Nairobi hospital. This mambo ni matatu is the William Ruto style of hostile taking over of places and, you know, we say companies, factories, in the pretext of not following due process. And that is a very sad reality. And so, mambo ni matatu, meaning you either leave Kenya or you go to jail or you are taken to heaven. And so this issue of taking people to heaven should not be taken lightly. But I believe they will have a government that will follow through these things and, of course, be able to help bring this country back to sanity, where we have leadership that is responsible, that respect the constitution and respect the law. But what we are being treated to is very sad, that we are quickly running back into the dark days of the 80s when we had Kenya and, of course, the Moi regime and the disappearing of people, the killings of people. I think we should not allow ourselves to get back there. Let's resist it with everything we are and everything we have. Mambo ni matatu is not supported by the constitution. It is not how the process by which matters, conflict were to be addressed according to the 2010 constitution. And so William Ruto talking about mambo ni matatu, it's already a violation, and I think it results into what we are calling you know, matters that are bridging towards, or rather bordering to what is impeachable. And so it is important that we keep right perspective. Story ya mambo ni matatu hiyo haisupportiwi na katiba, na wale ambao wanataka kuendelea katika hiyo njia wapasi kuaminiwa na wapasi kupewa public office, kwa sababu njia pekee ya sisi kuweka uhusiano vizuri na tuwe na njia ya kutatua kama kutakuwa na mzozo ni kufanya mambo kikatiba, ili kama kuna sehemu ambayo inavunjwa basi ijulikane. Lakini kama mtu atakuja na mantra yake ya mambo ni matatu, mwingine akuja na mambo ni manne, mwingine akuja mambo ni matano, I will end up having chaos in leadership. And of course, when there is conflict, the majority of the losers are the innocent Kenyans. So let's rise up and resist bad leadership. Let's resist this losing of key people like Dr. Buaka here, and of course others we have lost. We can't forget Musando, we can't forget Jacob Juma, we can't forget Kenay and others. I think Kenyans, the count is too long, and we shouldn't continue in that dimension. So I really would want to invite us not to accept what we are being invited into, that we can be a country of mafias, a country of killing people, a country of interference in the leadership of a private institution. Nairobi Hospital, from the last time I checked, it is not a government hospital. It's not a public hospital. And so, I mean, it's private. And so why should the government, the president, and of course, be involved in such a strong way, and of course not in the pretext of securing the place, but, to milk and take whatever that is left of the place. To me, that is a very sad reality, and we need to stand against it by all means. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for always being here for Sound Candid Talk. Kama uja subscribe, tafadhali subscribe. Na kama hujatufuata, tufuate Facebook, tunaitwa Sound Candid Talk, tufuate TikTok, Sound Candid Talk, YouTube, Sound Candid Talk Live, and Sound Candid Talk. Hizo channel zote tungependa wewe ukwe subscriber, ukatufuate, and then of course fuatilia matangazo ambayo tunaleta moja kwa moja kutoka sehemu tofauti kwa yale ambayo yatakuwa yanajiri. Kwa mfano hii leo kutakuwa na huo mgomo wa matatu, tutakuwa tunakupeperushia vile mambo yanakwenda, lakini tusimame imara, tuokoe nchi hii, tukatae uongozi mbaya. Hakuna kulazimisha mtu eti akue 2 term. Kama William Ruto hajafanya vizuri, afurushwe, tupate kiongozi ambaye atasimamia haki ya kila Mkenya na atatetea katiba hii, na kila Mkenya atakuwa salama chini ya uongozi huu. Mambo mengine yote tusiyakubali kwa vyovyote vile. I want to thank you so much. I want to thank Bill Dad and the rest that joined in the show. I want to sign out, but I'll be back later. Like I promised, we'll be following up what is going on with the Matatu strike. And then, of course, we would also want to see the approach of the government in sorting out that particular crisis. But what is happening in this country, it's unforgivable, especially by the government. The purpose of a government is to secure the people and protect them from harsh and, of course, unexpected changes like this. But if the government is crying foul and, of course, doing nothing in trying to, cushion Kenyans and put up safeguards, then hiyo serikali inafaa kufukuzwa. Asanteni sana. Naomba tafadhali tukatamatishie hapo. Tutakutana, nimekuwa na siku refu katika ibada. Naona nikikaa sana nitakuwa naharibu mambo, kwa sababu tunarauka mapema tena kufanya nini? Kuwaletea vile mambo ya mgomo wa matatu unaendelea. Ningependa kuwashukuru sana. Asante sana kwa kutusupport, asante kwa kulike video, asante kwa kushare, na tarajia kukutana na wewe katika kipindi kitakachofuata. God bless you. Thank you. See you then.